Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, should we consider trading Morgan Rielly? I'm seeing it a lot in the comment section. I'm seeing it a lot on Twitter. We saw it on Twitter basically all year long. Is it something that we should explore? It's starting to surface back up again because the Alex Pietrangelo news is picking up, and people are starting to wonder, well, can we afford to keep Morgan Rielly next season and even beyond that when his contract eventually expires at the end of the 21-22 season? Hopefully we can go over some armchair GMs and some possible scenarios here, and we can calm some people down because I don't think that the Maple Leafs need to trade Morgan Rielly or William Nylander, Alex Pietrangelo, or not. If we're looking at Morgan Rielly over the past couple of seasons, this year was basically a write-off for him. I mentioned it before. He admitted to playing hurt the entire season, and once he finally started to feel more like himself, he broke his foot in a game against the Florida Panthers. The 18-19 season was a culmination of everything coming together for him, where he was one of the best offensive defensemen in the entire league in transition, on even strength, on the power play. He actually led all defensemen in even strength points that season. We have seen what Morgan Rielly is at his best, and we have watched him grow ever since the Maple Leafs drafted him way back in 2012. He's one of the bigger leaders on this team. And if you're taking a look at Alex Pietrangelo here and his expected goals above replacement over the last couple of seasons, he really just is a model of consistency. Why would you not want to have both? Not going to explain everything here in this armchair GM because I went over it step by step in a video that I will link above the screen and leave it in the description. There are some compromises here. There are some things going in the Leafs' favor, but at the end of the day, I think that the players you're asking to make compromises to are going to have to make compromises to play on any team in the National Hockey League next season. We know Ilya Mikheyev and Dan Milstein have a very good relationship with Kyle Dubas. I mean, Travis Dermott's an RFA next year, doesn't really have a lot of control over what his next contract is going to be. The Toronto Maple Leafs can very well put this together. The St. Louis Blues' offer to Alex Pietrangelo right now is rumored to be $64 million over the course of an 8-year season, so $8 million a year. But that also doesn't include a no-trade clause, and there's no signing bonuses each year. The Toronto Maple Leafs can 100% top that because they can give him the no movement clause, and they can also front load the shit out of the deal because having more money up front is always worth more than waiting for it. If you were Alex Pietrangelo, would you rather have an $8 million salary next year paid out over the course of the season, or would you rather have over $12 million just handed to you the second you sign the deal? Money talks, and the Toronto Maple Leafs got a lot more of it than any other team in the league right now, especially with all the talks of internal salary caps. I mean, hell, the estimated salary expenditure for the Toronto Maple Leafs next season is already above what the upper limit of the salary cap is. But there is a legitimate cause for concern when you realize that the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to have to re-sign guys like Zach Hyman and Morgan Rielly in a couple of years. And it is so stupid to be looking this far into the future for the 2022-2023 season right now, but it's something that we do have to look at and consider right now. Right now, the NHL salary cap is forecasted to stay flat for a couple of seasons with the potential of going up $1 million in that 2022-2023 season. But again, I'd say that this is more of just a conservative forecast than anything. No one really knows what's going to happen 6 months from now, a year from now, let alone 2 or 3. So there very well could be a couple more $1 million to work with, and what you're seeing in the top right-hand corner there is going to be tight. The Maple Leafs are just going to have to draft well. And if you're saying to yourself that you don't really trust this because at this point Morgan Rielly is going to be 28, Pietrangelo and Muzzin are going to be in their early 30s, that's a lot of wear and tear on those guys. But if you're looking at a guy like Alex Pietrangelo, who has been an elite defender in this league for a long time, and you're comparing him to other guys who have been elite defenders in this league for a very long time, his numbers do stack up well. Is Pietrangelo going to be a Mark Giordano or a Shea Weber? Is he going to be a Chris Letang or a Ryan Suter? You know, there are examples of guys being very productive into their 30s. Because if you're looking at this list here of defenders that are over the age of 33 and making sizable money in the NHL, there are examples of guys on here that are worth their contract still, and there are also guys who are very much not worth the money that they're making right now. It just depends on how you view Pietrangelo. Is he a Weber or a Suter, like I mentioned before, or is he a Vlasic or a Seabrook or someone else on this list? And coming back to this here, I like being optimistic, so we're going to say that he can be a Weber, a Suter, a Burns, or a Giordano. This could work, but like I said before, the Maple Leafs need to draft well. This isn't including guys like Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liljegren and Travis Dermott, who will all need new contracts by then, obviously. Hopefully their development goes well and you're able to incorporate them into this mix. Let's say the salary cap increases by $2 or $3 million by then. I can see this being realistic and comfortable. I don't think very many people understand the value of still having Nick Robertson on his ELC at this point. Even people that don't like Kyle Dubas are able to admit that he's really good at drafting, and he's also really good at just plucking guys out of Europe at 900 grand, like Alexander Barabanov and Mikko Lehtinen, who I think are going to be huge pieces on the Toronto Maple Leafs this season. Stay tuned for a video just talking about those two guys because I think people are really underestimating them. And if you are going the route of Alex Pietrangelo, you're more than likely going to have to run a goalie tandem, and if that's the case, it's Jack Campbell and somebody else, but you got $4.6 million to go out there and find someone, which is a very, very healthy number. Hell, for $4.5 million, they can afford Darcy Kemper. I don't know what it would cost to get Kemper from the Arizona Coyotes, but you got these guys on LTIR who you can use to acquire other assets and use those assets to get a guy like Kemper if you really wanted to. This would be really, really tight, but I think people need to understand the value of drafting, especially over the next couple of seasons. You're going to really, really need to rely upon your drafting skills and your ability to entice European free agents, which Kyle Dubas has been exceptional at over the last couple of seasons. And if you were able to add Alex Pietrangelo and you are able to make this armchair GM a reality, where does that defense rank? I know some people would argue that they'd rather have two guys making $4 million than just Pietrangelo making $8 million. But to those people, I would say that they're really underestimating Alex Pietrangelo. He is really, really good. I'm just going to be honest with you. If Alex Pietrangelo is added to this team and you're able to do this, that is a top 10 defensive core in the entire NHL. And if you don't think so, that bias is on you because Jake Muzzin and Morgan Rielly are already two amazing pieces. And adding a guy like Pietrangelo, who's been a top 5 defenseman in the league over the last couple of seasons, really pushes them over the edge. So no, I don't think that the Maple Leafs should trade Morgan Rielly because they don't have to. And I don't think that they should trade William Nylander either because they don't have to. And if you're one of the people going into this video that thought that they should or would have to, hopefully you've changed your mind. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure to like the video if you did like it and subscribe for more because more is always on the way. And guys, remember, just because something seems difficult or really impossible doesn't mean that it is. And if you guys are interested, I still am selling some authentic Adidas Toronto Maple Leafs jerseys. They're all brand new. Most of them still have the tags on them. Never been worn before. The exact same ones that you would get from Sport Check for very, very good deals. I will leave a link to a tweet in which I tweeted out the pictures that have the sizes and the prices there. If you're interested in them, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter and send me a DM, and we can go from there if you want to see more pictures of them. There's a Morgan Rielly. There's an Austin Matthews. There's a couple of Mitch Marners. There's even a Nazem Kadri St. Pat's and a signed Wendell Clark jersey.